The opinions, viewpoints, and beliefs presented on this program do not necessarily reflect those of the management, the affiliates and broadcast partners, or the sponsors. Listener discretion is advised.
And hello everyone and good evening and welcome to Scarefest Radio. The original broadcast date is May 3rd, 2019. Tonight, my co-host and I, Mr. Chris Sutton, Cody Chris Sutton, and myself, will be going over the rest of the speakers for Scarefest 2019. The original plan was, when we got the speaker list, we had kind of set this date aside. We hadn't really planned anything, and we were going to do all the speakers tonight. Well, then last week, when the first round, we decided to go ahead and do them when Bishop Long could not be with us as scheduled. So, tonight, we've got the other half of the list. We're going to go over that, and we'll probably recap the other speakers and just have a good time with it and tell you what's coming up at the Scarefest seminars. Hey, Chris, how you been, buddy?
Oh, you know, Wes, it's like the 40 days and 40 nights here in Alton, Illinois. We're right next to the Mississippi River. Yeah, I'll be damned if she ain't creeping up and up further and further. We got a real good flood downtown here. And luckily I live way up high, so I don't have to worry about getting, but I got water and shit in my basement because it's raining so freaking much. We got like 6 inches of rain or so in the last few days. And so it has been a pain in the ass. But other than that, I'm doing really good.
Well, see, of course, here in Kentucky, everybody is sweating the Kentucky Derby. They pulled off the Oaks tonight. They thought it was going to be a washout, but now the Kentucky Derby tomorrow night, the rain is supposed to move back into the area just in time for the Kentucky Derby. Now, of course, that falls into my gives a rat's ass category because I've just never been into horse racing. But it is a big thing around here, apparently. And it's... I love the spring weather. 2 and 3 days of pretty weather and then rain moving back in. In other words, just enough time to dry things out where you can actually do something outdoors and then you're back to where you started.
Yeah, it's good for my bamboo. I grow bamboo in the backyard and it likes this stuff. So this shit's going to be tall this year. It'll be great.
Bamboo.
Bamboo. Yeah. Now I get the clump bamboo. You know, if you get bamboo, that stuff runs on you. It's a grass is what it is, so it'll run. But I get what they call clump bamboo, and it'll only go out so about 3 or 4 foot out each direction, so you can plant it and kind of know where it's going to go. So
is that like decorative, or do you make like shaman flutes out of it or something?
No, I don't use a flute. I find them boring. But I always use the drum. No, that's decorative. It spruces up the backyard. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I could make blowguns out of them, though. Actually, that's about
There you go. Yeah. And I've got the darts.
Good. See,
because they may not let me carry that tranquilizer gun actually to the Scarefest, but I think I can sneak the darts in pretty easy.
Yeah, you could probably get a regular firearm before you get that dart gun in there. I'll bet.
Well, yeah, it looks like a high-powered rifle.
Yeah, really. I still think you ought to get it in, bring it piece by piece, and somebody starts annoying us, we'll just drop them in the aisle.
Now, see that? Now you're talking about me taking something apart, and I'm not mechanically inclined.
Don't you work on your tractors and stuff?
I do, but the reason I work on my tractors is because I'm not mechanically inclined, and most of the things I'm working on could have been avoided had I known anything about mechanics. Well, let's go ahead and get into these speakers. First of all, coming back, our first one on the list, everybody. And he's been on Scarefest Radio a few weeks back. We had a good time on that show. Mr. Bud Jennis is, of course, presenting. His presentation is H.H. Holmes, America's first mass serial killer. So that's the background on that is, okay, he's the guy that built the hotel next to the World's Fair in, what was it, Chicago?
Yeah, I think it was Chicago.
And basically built his own sex dungeon and murder capital, and like when he get done killing them, he just had like a big closet just for storing bodies. And like when you check into the hotel, he had little tunnels that would, he could sneak into your room and whisk you away. He was quite imaginative in his
So
serial killer.
yeah, it's kind of like a roach motel. You check in, but you don't check out.
I wonder how long it took people to figure out. I never have really looked into it. How long it took people to figure out. So all these missing people all stayed at that hotel.
Well, the thing is, I think back then, I mean, now it's real. You miss people. Like, let's say if I went to Kentucky and you killed me and buried me out in the back 40, that somebody would know pretty quick that I was missing. Julie, after a couple of weeks, probably start wondering.
And wouldn't worry about it, but go ahead.
Yeah, just kind of start wondering. But they know exactly where you are. But back then, I mean, your fastest method of communication was to write letters. Well, I'm going here, I'm going there, and it's made it really hard to pinpoint where you were, where you could have stayed. Chicago, even at that time, was a really big city, so it was a lot easier. People weren't as observant. There weren't any cameras or anything like that, so it was much easier, I think, back then to murder. And plus, the guy had a real airtight system there,
Yeah, he definitely had thought things through. You got to give him that. Now, everybody, Bud holds a Bachelor of Arts in Classical English Literature and 2 master's degrees. He writes a popular movie review blog, Bud's Reviews, and he's a featured guest on the LAMB podcast. That's the Large Association of Movie Blogs. He didn't put anything about being on Scarefest Radio in his bio. Yeah, I'm a little hurt.
I am, because I was on. I think I was on when we interviewed him one time. If it wasn't this year, it was last year. We had him on when I was on with him. So yeah, no, geez, Bud, what are you thinking, man? Come on, we'll speak to him. He's the first one for the dart gun.
I thought you were the co-host this year, because I know I dicked up the audio.
Yeah, I know.
Like
it was this year. I mean, it's just the days is just everything just kind of blends together.
Oh yeah, sure. That's what he needs to put in his bio. Everybody, his mother's the one that said I had a potty mouth.
You do have a potty mouth, and what's the?
Well, but she's the first person that brought it to my attention on the via the sending their son to the Comic-Con to tell me that I had a potty mouth.
Let's see. By the time somebody gave you a talking to.
Oh yes, and she had to stop listening. My potty mouth was so bad that she had to stop listening. Although it's quite possible that was just an excuse to not have to listen.
That could be. Yeah, I mean, we're not too bad. I mean, you're not that bad. I mean, you haven't dropped any F-bombs yet.
Well, but the topic was serial killers. Let's face it. Yeah. Oh, goody, my son's on TV. Oh, goody, he's talking about serial killers. Yay.
Yeah. Well, that was probably okay. It's probably the fact that you were talking. You were making like fun of it too, though.
Yeah, a little bit.
Doing stuff to corpses. Yeah, it was kind of raunchy.
I think that was the episode where it came up about whether or not the guy killed them and masturbated them or masturbated them to death.
There we go. That was it. Yeah,
that was the shining moment. Everybody,
Mm-hmm.
that was the shining moment of that episode.
Yes.
But hey, I never did get it straightened out. Next up, another friend of the show. She's been on this show. She's been on my other show. She's been on damn near everything I've ever done. The lovely and talented Stephanie Bingham. Well, I really thought she'd make the first cut. I don't know why she was on second cut. Stephanie Bingham, who basically draws a large audience because not only is she talented, but she's also beautiful and looks great in a dress.
Indeed. She does, and she always dresses so nicely.
Yes, we've established she does not even own sweatpants.
No, that's right. She said that. That she does not own. She does not own anything like that. I mean, anything that's of that nature, she does not own. I think when she goes around the house and dressed down, she's like in designer jeans and stuff and Gucci stuff. There's more power to her. I look like a bum most of the time, so
She did go out of her way. I think the first day at Scarefest last year, she wore slacks, not blue jeans, but dressed like, and had to make sure that I was witness to that the fact that she was not actually wearing a mini dress, and
Yeah.
and because she was trying to blow whatever body image I have of her, but it didn't work. Now I need to.
She
I
knows
almost
you too
want,
well. That's why.
I almost want to verify this. It says that she's speaking about Marie Laveau and New Orleans voodoo, and I could have swore she gave that presentation before.
I don't know.
But Marie Laveau's name has become synonymous with voodoo in New Orleans, but her impact on history goes well beyond that. What do you now? See, now I need to know that. I don't really know what her impact on history is.
No.
Impact on history. I guess if you have an impact on history, it would be what her impact on history is, because history is continuing.
Yeah. I mean, we all have an impact on history. It just depends how much of an impact and how interesting it is, you know.
True.
For me, it's like, not much of a mention there, but now I am just spellbound. I have to know what Marie Laveau has done. So if I can't make it to Stephanie's talk, I'll have to read up on it. Because she's using voodoo to help herself. So, did she have voodoo dolls of people and stick pins in them and stuff like that? Give them heart attacks?
Well, not that's come up in casual conversation, but we can find out.
Yeah. We should call Steph up and see if she's busy.
My last drink of Pepsi went down the wrong way. Stephanie has a master's degree in history
Pepsi
and has
my
worked,
ass.
and that is Pepsi. That is 100% Pepsi right here. And has worked in museums. She has the ability to see and sense spirits of the departed since she was a small child, growing up in rural Kentucky. Her life has been filled with paranormal experiences, from harmless encounters with human spirits to run-ins with malevolent and inhuman forces. And one of those such things was campus warning signs. School Spirits was the name of the show. So she,
wow.
But
there must have been a bunch of shows I mean, and nothing. That's not to slight Stephanie at all, but there's a bunch of stuff I didn't know was even out there.
School Spirits was one of the first recreation shows.
Okay.
Beyond the ones that had been around for quite I should say one of the first ones of the new wave. You had the ones that like History Channel or not Destination America, Travel Channel, they were doing some, but it was one of the first ones that Sci-Fi Channel did. And of course, Sci-Fi was kind of the leader of the paranormal. In other words, until it hit Sci-Fi, nobody gave a rat's ass. Right,
because they had ghost hunters, and so they had the best show on the time. There's a lot of stuff. I'm going to digress for a minute. Have you seen Ghost Bait?
No, I have not watched it. It's probably floating around the internet somewhere, but since I cut the cable, I don't get to see any of this stuff.
Yes, you're missing it. It's like this is even something I got problems with. I mean, it's like what they do is the episode I watched, and I understand that Bo and Miss Stover are great people, and so, but it's like what they do is they go into the person's got a problem with a spirit, so they go and they investigate. And they say, okay, we found this, this, and this. They find the most haunted room in the house. And what do? Instead of saying, stay out of here, no, we're going to have you sit in this chair. We're going to put a burlap bag, and that's exactly what it is, a burlap bag over your head. Put all these sensors and shit around you and make you sit there and confront the spirit that's torturing you. And when I watched, a woman was crying and screaming and stuff like this. And I've been the human services for 30 years. That doesn't seem like a very therapeutic way of going about this. So,
see, now,
where have we gone?
Well, I mean, some people want to be on TV that bad, but no, there was some type of twist like that just based on the name of the show.
Yeah.
But now, I do think it's valid, because some people say they are ghost magnets, or, you're a psychic. And Chip Coffey's done the little experiment with the ping pong balls on the eyes so many times. It's a wonder that he just doesn't keep them taped to his head. That is all. In other words, I'm not saying, okay, decide what's the most haunted room and stick someone in there. But yeah, making you confront the
Mhm.
ghost in in what would be considered a vulnerable position, the way you
Yeah,
described it.
I was gonna say, confront them's one thing if you can do it in have a position of strength, but shit, not when you're sitting down blindfolded. That doesn't strike me as being a position of strength.
So, in the apparently in the chat room, the consensus is that show sucks. So just that was a direct quote from our chat room on scarefestradio.com. So
Oh,
we now watch. We'll book whoever's in charge of it and
I'll keep an eye on that.
Have to answer.
Oh no,
for that.
I mean, like I said, Bo and God, I forgot what Miss Dover's first name is. Like I said, I've heard about them that they're really nice folks. It's kind of the way this is shaking out. And it was a show previously, I guess, and they brought it back somehow. But I guess out of the 500 something people are on agreements out there, including myself, I mean, it's saturated the area.
Well, I mean, if you're going to get on TV, you got to do something different. Everybody, you're watching Scarefest Radio.
I would have to say no to that myself.
Watching Scarefest Radio. We'll be right back after this word from our sponsor. Have you checked out the Mama Ruby's family of metaphysical and spiritual shows? The Mystical Fair in Lexington, Kentucky, Lexington's only monthly psychic and holistic healing arts fair. The Inner Light Festivals in Louisville in June and Lexington in November. And watch for Mama Ruby's Expo coming in 2020. Plus, Mama Ruby's Meta Lecture Series featuring interesting guests speaking on fascinating subjects. Start your journey now at mamarubies.com for more information. And welcome back to Scarefest Radio. Tonight we're talking about our seminar speakers. I do want to remind you, Lexington's only monthly psychic and holistic healing arts fair, Whipple Court, Lexington, Kentucky. Go to mysticalfairlex.com, May 25th and 26th. Is that Memorial Day weekend?
Sounds like it, yeah.
Well,
so it'll be like crickets. These are two folks got out of town.
No, or will it? Because a lot of people are just looking for things to do that over the weekend.
Yeah.
But so the Mystical Fair, May 25th and 26th, check that out. And also the Inner Light Festival is coming up very soon, June 1st through June 2nd. I don't know if they have any vendor spots left or not. They had a couple left, and I haven't spoken to them in the last week to find out if that's all cleared up. But you can go online and buy your tickets if you're interested. InnerLightFestival.com. They got some of the Tennessee Wraith Chasers will be there, and isn't there like somebody else really famous going?
Let me think. Where's it at? Where's it at again?
Louisville.
Keith Age will be there. But easy, some of the Wraith Chasers show up. I know there is. I can't remember.
You're just
I know. I don't.
Now.
I'm not going there, so I always miss it. So.
But anyway, InnerLightFestival.com. Back to our speaker list.
Yes.
Now, another one that we've had on the show. A very, very talented and interesting woman. Susanna McComas. Susanna.
Yes.
I thought it was just Suzanne. There's an
It
A
says
on
Susanna. It says Susanna.
It says it on the list, but I'm thinking it's Suzanne. McComas, we had her on. Basically, everybody, she has, her resume is just 30 years in the justice system, both as law enforcement officer and a private investigator. She is a licensed private investigator in California, Kentucky, and Ohio, previously licensed in New York, Texas.
Damn, that's a big area.
Yeah, she moves around a lot.
I guess she gets a lot. She just gets in a plane and goes investigates.
But I mean, she was a consultant on America's Most Wanted. But basically, her thing is she's talked to these people that have these murderers, some serial killer, but just murderers in general. and she is convinced that some of them are possessed. I don't think I can put that any more succinctly than that.
I got to point something out real quick because the guys that you guys are watching, you can't see what I'm looking at here. This is what she's got in her promo for her presentation. And this is brilliant. I wish I'd have done it because they'll be standing room only. Note, due to graphic nature of the incidents discussed in this presentation, no one under the age of 18 will be allowed to attend. Brilliant. I love that. Great job, Suzanne.
And she is serious about it too. After we spoke to her, when I had her on the after just doing the little chit chat after the show, she was telling me, "Do you think that'll cause a problem?" Because I'm very, I feel very strongly about that. And I told her, I fully respect what she's her reasoning behind it.
So, sure, yeah. No, it's valid. It's just brilliant at the same time.
And because we do, our group tends to like graphic. I'm still looking at doing one and putting free beer possibility. I'll put possibility of free beer.
There you go.
See how that works. But
I tell you what, if a bunch of people show up because they're going to get free beer and they don't get it, you might be in danger. But
well, then we'll have the spree killer segment. The but no, hers was a really interesting episode. Because I mean, we got into it, and she talks about the way, I mean, just the way people change, the way they're, they act, and it's, I don't know what the graphic content will be. We really didn't get into that.
I'm telling you, it's brilliant.
But the demon.
See, he's got us talking about it.
Yep.
That's so. Yeah, demons. So she thinks demons are the cause of some of this stuff.
Some of it, not all of it. That's one thing we discussed. I mean, I'm convinced some people are just born. I don't want to say they're born evil, but they're born without that part of the brain that tells you don't be evil.
Yeah.
Is that? I think that's a more accurate way to put it.
That's what they call a dissociative personality disorder. Yes, that's the clinical term for it.
I was sure there was a name for it.
Yes.
But but there are people in the world that by the time they're teenagers, you just that person's evil, and
I never know what to call it, evil or just being devoid of good. I guess that's what evil is.
I tell you what, I think there is a fine line. Now, this is my opinion, everybody. Full disclaimer there. Okay, being devoid of good is the person that will walk past you when you're hanging off a cliff. Yeah, an evil person goes over and steps on your fingers. There is a line there, but both fall into the same category. Both, negligent homicide is a thing. In other words, you can, but so I do think there is a degree there that you can, in other words, one might be more evil than the other, I guess would be a way to put it. But yeah, devoid of good. I mean, and that's a good way to put it. But she's convinced that some cases involve people that, and she gets a lot of this not just by interviewing the inmates, from interviewing the guards, their interaction with these people. Just how. Oh yeah. How far things go, what is, what happens. But then I have to wonder, not knowing a whole lot about demons, if a demon possesses a person, okay?
Okay.
I don't see why, I don't know what the rules on being a demon is. I can see being a demon and possessing a person, killing people, and then they go to prison. But as soon as they got in prison, I'd be like, okay, I got other shit to do.
I'm going back to the pit. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going back to the pit. There's some guy's barn that needs a demon in it.
That's right.
there's a basement that I haven't been to yet. But really, once you, I don't know why they would want to ride it out. But then again, I don't think like a demon.
Or it may not be. I mean, maybe more complex than that as far as reasoning and all that sort of thing of why we don't know how to. If there are such things as demons. How do they reason? I mean, what is their reason? I mean, what seems kind of silly to us. Well, why would you get locked up in prison for 30 years? Well, 30 years is nothing to a demon. It's like, spending a weekend at your in-laws or something like that. It's a minor inconvenience for somebody who's immortal.
Absolutely. And and even and it also goes the other way. People say, they try to figure out the reasoning of the higher power, be it however they visualize it, Judeo-Christian God or whatever. But at the same time, you've got to remember, whoever the higher power is, I'm quite sure their logic, their mindset, their way of processing information is quite different from us little three-dimensional beings here on Earth.
Yeah, exactly. It's a whole different spheres of influence and intelligence and world, whatever universe view, not world view, universe view. But
maybe I've just watched too many movies, and demons can't just hop around from person to person in a little cloud of black smoke whenever they want to. Also a possibility.
Yeah, I mean it's like we don't know the rules, so it's like we talk about spirits, where it goes to, why this, that, and the other. And it's like, how they transfer from place to place. We don't know the rules of how this works, and so until we know what the rules are, we're just
anarchy.
Anarchy,
I tell you.
Anarchy, I tell you. So we'll have these, Susanna and people like that will give us some intelligent stuff to think about and to start making, our own decisions upon and things like that. But stuff like this is interesting as hell to me, because I have spent a lot of time I spent time in school in criminal justice, and I worked with offenders for many years. And you wonder what happens to people. I mean, there's a disconnect there. They get that look in their eye where it's like, that you're nothing to them. You're just an object. They don't have that empathy or that can be able to connect with other human beings. They can associate, they can talk with them, they can interact. And like in the case of Ted Bundy, very well. But like you said, there's that dead part inside of them. It's like you're an object. You have no bearing on this person. So, they can snuff you out like a candle. And it's not going to bother them. So yeah, there are people
close.
Like that.
I'm that close. I'm just that close.
until the switch gets tripped.
The only thing that has kept me out of trouble is I know I won't do well in prison. It would be a very bad place. There is no scenario where I would do well in prison. Everybody, we're going to take our next commercial break. You're watching Scarefest Radio. Do you feel lost in life? Do you seem to be stuck in emotions that are not yours? Is your home not the sanctuary it should be? Contact Spirit Mechanics, where they take a team approach to your metaphysical and spiritual problems. Spirit Mechanics specializes in aura cleansing, stone attunement, attachment removal, and house cleansings. Spirit Mechanics tailors their approach to your individual spiritual path and needs. Find them every month at Lexington, Kentucky's Mystical Fair, mysticalfairlex.com, or on Facebook by searching Spirit Mechanics, that's MECHANIX. Spirit Mechanics, for your spiritual health and well-being. Everyone is talking about CBD oil. Most of us know that CBD is a cannabis compound that has significant medical benefits, but does not make people high. Its benefits include pain relief, anti-seizure properties, anxiety relief, fights cancer, reduces the risk of diabetes, and it is even used as a sleep aid. Blue Leaf Naturals CBD and hemp products are full-spectrum hemp extract oils. They use only hemp grown in Kentucky, supporting Kentucky farmers and businesses and helping you and your family stay healthy and well. Blue Leaf Naturals, created with care from seed to shelf. Visit their website at blueleafnaturals.com. Blue Leaf Naturals, a Kentucky proud company. And welcome back to Scarefest Radio. I need to redo that CBD oil commercial. My southern accent comes out on the word diabetes. And
Okay.
And no way that it comes out of my mouth. There is no way that I pronounce it that when I hear it, I don't think, what an effing redneck.
The pumpkin.
Yeah. I mean, I sound like that guy, the old man on that movie that did the commercials. Had the little wire rim glasses out.
Oh, Wilford Brimley?
Yes, I sound like Wilford Brimley. Diabetes.
That's right. We'll send you these test strips.
I need a diction coach for one word.
I thought you needed an addiction coach. I said, you need to be coached, become addicted. I said, no, okay, diction. Okay, I got you.
So
now.
Anyway, the CBD
You're running
oil,
together.
Blue Leaf Naturals, and Scarefest listeners, use code SF3, SFFREE, to get free shipping. Give them a try. BlueLeafNaturals.com. Next up, we knew he was coming. This is another one. I don't know why they even held him for the second round. Kyle Cobb.
Kyle Cobb.
Yes, Kyle Cobb, who comes every year and speaks. And now this year, let's see. Yeah, he's got a bunch. I knew he'd have a bunch. Let's see here. First of all, the possession of Elizabeth Knapp. In 1671, the possession of Elizabeth Knapp in Groton, Massachusetts, laid the foundations for the most famous witch trials that followed.
Okay. I guess he's
Actually,
referring to the Salem witch trials, I suppose.
Well,
I never heard the Groton witch trials.
They were adjacent. They were Salem adjacent. Actually, that's
Gotcha.
the only seminar he's got on the list. The rest of the stuff is books that the son of a bitch has written.
Right.
He's an overachiever. He is an overachiever.
He's He has traveled the world in search of the unknown, covering 59 countries and studying 22 religions. That's pretty good.
Yeah, for over 25 years, he's been doing this crap.
Shit, I can't afford to get out of Illinois most of the time. Dude's been in 59 countries.
And 20, I didn't even know there was 22 religions.
I didn't either. I guess there are. Well, there's there's sub branches of different religions.
Oh yeah,
too.
now if you're going to get into Baptist versus Methodist, then it's easy.
Well, yeah. Then you got the Hindu. You get this. You have the Sikhs and things like that. There's different branches off the roots there.
But
So, yeah.
But I mean, he's I'll put it this way: he's well versed, and he reads ancient Egyptian text, which is just. Question, Chris.
Yes.
Okay, when someone says they read, and they'll say, I read at, let's say, okay, a kid. But they'll say, oh, my kid reads at a 5th grade level. Okay.
Right. And he's in 7th grade.
Let's say my kid reads ancient Egyptian text at the 3rd grade level. Process that a moment. I mean,
well, it's like I'm trying to figure out.
presumably.
Is he reading hieroglyphs, or is he just reading the translations of the hieroglyphs? I'm not sure if it doesn't really say, because I mean most of that stuff's translated now, so you can read that stuff. I don't know. We'll have to ask Kyle sometime what that means.
But back in ancient Egypt, when they were actually writing this stuff, and they were writing it in little dog people and people doing this.
Anubis, yes.
I just wonder if they, when they interviewed people to carve on the pyramid, did they say how good are you? what's the symbol for was? You know, that kind of thing. You know.
Or well, you'd have to study hieroglyphs and learn how to read them. I couldn't tell you what the symbol for was or
the books were heavy as shit. I mean, just big stone tablets.
They might have had they had papyrus after a while.
Yeah, they did.
That wasn't light either. It's not the Flintstones. Come on.
Well, I mean, you're going to carve it on a on
the wall
pyramid.
and stuff. Yeah, I got you.
So I was just thinking, okay, well, let's can I see your work? Can I see an example? Oh yeah.
It's like they after they translate some of that stuff they thought was it's really great stuff. And it turns out is how much grain they had in this bin is what they had written on there and stuff like that. They used it for accounting too and stuff like that. It wasn't just great stories and the words of the gods and that sort of stuff. They were practical too.
I heard that somewhere, and because it was on this documentary about basically. It was about tarot cards, and one of the guys that was tarot cards used to be a card game, people. Back in France, and then somebody decided they had messages. In other words, the cart actually did come after the horse in that case, and but so this guy was doing his translation of ancient text, coming up with these ideas. And then somebody actually learned how to read the language, and the stuff was like really mundane stuff. It was like, it wasn't accounting. It wasn't that mundane, but it was stuff like, don't stick your hand in an alligator's mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
Really
practical knowledge. Yes.
Yeah, really basic daily advice, and that was okay. A little side tangent there. Now, the next one I'm going to talk about, I just want to say, I am going to preamble this by saying these are, with the exception of Chris Sutton, these are my two favorite people in the paranormal world. That's how much I love these people. John and Stacey Edwards are finally coming back to Scarefest. They were some of the first friends that I made in the paranormal field when I got into it. And I've kind of followed their career as I could because they're kind of all over the map. He has a job that made him travel. And so in other words, he'd get one project going really good, and then he'd have to move and kind of start over. But
I saw him like Ghost Brothers. Yeah, I remember seeing it. Okay.
They apparently they. Of course, I've not seen the show, but I've got their autographed DVD downstairs. They had a show that was actually regionally popular back when the ghost shows first started.
Right.
And so I've got a DVD of one of their episodes. But John and Stacey Edwards, Till Death and Beyond, The Haunted Journey of John and Stacey Edwards. Now, I have to say, the biggest amount of respect that I have to give them is they do this. They were doing a podcast before I started doing podcasts. They were out there.
Wow.
And they actually started doing video before I even got into video. Mm-hmm. But the two of them sit down, and I have never been able to create the chemistry because, well, I'm not married to the person I'm talking to, i.e. Chris Sutton. But
Thank you.
When I would do the breaking the news segments,
mm-hmm.
They do that every episode and absolutely rock it.
Geez, I have to check them out then. Yeah.
Yeah, they she reads the paranormal news and he makes snide comments, and the chemistry is there. And
maybe I don't want to listen to him. It might be me they make fun of sometime. I don't know.
Yeah, they've been 1997. That's when they got into the paranormal field. They got a new book out, and of course, this is their book tour, if you will. And their current podcast is the Paranormal Sideshow Podcasted. It was formerly called Haunted South. Now, if you want to listen to their old stuff, search Haunted South Paranormal Podcast. I think they had me on the show once, didn't they?
Oh no.
Yeah. Well, I know you don't know. I was asking the producer over here.
producer.
But
And she's a lovely producer.
And they over the years they've given me a lot of good advice, and it's you. But I'm not saying they told me what to do, but it was like if I would get kind of discouraged, they're telling me what a stupendous person I was, and so they've been inspirational. I'll just say that.
Cool.
But now, the most horrible sight in the world is John Edwards first thing in the morning.
Oh.
Wait
a minute, I saw his picture. He looks pretty BA anyway.
He's
somebody I want to mess with. New. He's pretty tough.
Oh yeah, he's been a professional wrestler, and that's what he's got all these injuries from wrestling, and so when he sleeps of a night, he actually much like myself, he in the morning getting out of bed is just this enormous burden. He's fine. Apparently he's fine once he gets out and moves around, but I've seen him bright and early, and it's me with a hangover. He's like that apparently every day. So Stacy is also a saint. Need to put that in the bio. But and what drew me to them? We actually met when I worked at an old website called It's Haunted. I was one of the moderators, authors there, and the website people was, and it's probably still around, but it's just now taken over by spam and everything else. But the concept was to bring together various viewpoints in the paranormal: shamans, investigators, skeptics, psychics, blah 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 blah, and and just have a discussion. Just throw something out there and see what sticks, and and discuss it. The idea was to do it civilly. Did not work out, did it? Did not work out. And oddly enough, it wasn't the skeptics that were the big dicks. It was the psychics, really, because a psychic will take a photograph, a blurry photograph, and tell you that it's an angel, and then you go in and say, "That really looks like you took it at a lake. That's limestone, lady," and and it just devolves from there.
Well, yeah, they don't take that too well.
Yeah, and the blurry tombstones, those kind of pictures, walk through a graveyard at night and get all the swamp gas coming up out of the graves. Radon, it's actually radon gas.
Right.
But it's a ghost. I know, and so that's kind of how the conversations went. But they talk about, in their presentation, they will be talking about the dangers of the paranormal, the keeper theory, which I have no idea what the keeper theory is, the pay-per-boo theory, which I'll bet is much like my tourist ghost theory. It sounds very similar. The
transit, I call them transitory. Yeah, gotcha.
And they're talking about attachments and living with the paranormal, this and the randomness that is sure to pop up. And with those two of them, I'm quite sure it will.
That's kind of like if you and I, whenever you and I give a presentation together, it just goes off the rails.
We covered a lot of ground that day. Nothing to do with the topic to speak of. Everybody, we're going to take our last commercial break. You're watching Scareface Radio. We'll come back with a recap of tonight's announcements and go back over last week's. Be right back.
Coyote Chris Sutton.
Shamanism.
Spiritual advisement.
Paranormal investigations.
Inspirational presentations.
Bringing light to the darkest places for over 20 years. Go to coyotechris.com to learn more. And welcome back to Scarefest Radio. Quick plug, Chris. What is your next public appearance? Don't give me your whole damn calendar like you did last time.
to find out about that, go on Facebook, find Dark Knight Paranormal, and follow the signs, and you can buy tickets and stuff. There are still tickets for sale. But yes, that will be May 10th and 11th at Dog. It's an old Dog Patch USA. It's an old amusement park, and it's been shut down for years and stuff. And so
I thought that's where little Abner was from, wasn't it?
It's exactly right. That was back in the little Abner craze days.
Little cultural reference there.
That's right. For you people now, that was back in the comics. When all the comics you saw were, you can watch cartoons. You had comics in the newspaper, and so
that's true.
That's what we did. So,
because you only had 3 channels, and
that's right.
I do have to get to my other. I'll get to my sponsor. One other thing on John and Stacey Edwards, and this is a critique of the two of you. All of the speakers gave nice color pictures. You all turn in some black and white shit. So I'm going to go on your Facebook page and I'm going to find a color picture of you to do your banner, because black and white. What is somebody running against you for office? Black and white. Anyway, do want to go ahead and plug AkashicAwareness.com. Akashic Awareness over in Elizabethtown. They are a metaphysical healing and learning center unlike any other in Kentucky. A large selection of crystals, gems, and minerals greet you the minute you walk in the door. Now, they've got some upcoming events. Go to AkashicAwareness.com if you're in the E-Town area, because on May 4th, that is tomorrow, if you're not doing the Derby thing, you can get an introduction to shamanic journeying. Shamanic journeying. They've got an introduction to that coming up at 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. May 9th, Rachel Centron is doing massage. That's the one I describe as having pause, because
you didn't tell her that.
I think I've told her to her face. I'm just saying that if you don't be manly, if she says I don't think she says how rough do you want it. I think it's like, but how much pressure do you want? You say, do not say, give me the works, because she will mess you up, dude, until you're used to it.
Well, I think you're going to get it firsthand if she listened to that.
What? I endorse her fully. I'm just saying that I was not up to. It's a compliment. That's. I was not manly enough. I put it this way. She's this little. She's like 5 foot tall, 4'9" maybe. And you look at her and you go, she can't hurt me. She can hurt you, but yeah, she can also help you. She does a great massage. I'm just saying, just let her pick. Maybe y'all let her pick the pain level. Intuitive readings with Joni. Joni Kahn will be doing intuitive readings also on May 9th, Thursday, May 9th, 1 o'clock to 5:30. Joni is one of my favorite psychics. I've not had a reading from her in a long time because she quit giving them to me free, but otherwise. Actually, I think I paid for the one I got from her, the last one. But anyway, Joni Kahn, she's very, very talented psychic, very nice lady. She will be there on May 9th, and then there's just a whole bunch more stuff coming up. Tarot readings, Reiki, massage. What it is, every week they try to have different people rotate in and out to spread the wealth. I don't know how else to say it.
No, that's how you should do it. I've been around those shops for years, and you can't have the same people there every weekend. You gotta rotate folks in and out. Keeps everything fresh.
So I think we hit all of the speakers.
Yeah.
That was everybody on my list. Now we will go back, everybody, and recap the ones. But now I want to tell you, Scarefest is famous for having some of the best seminars, some of the best speakers.
Yeah.
I mean, it is, and because there's so few slots, it is quite an honor to get invited to do it. Now, of course, as I pointed out, every year there seems to be a topic du jour that, and this year it is serial killers and other murdery type things.
I even switched gears this year.
Yeah. And last year was demons. We had to talk about demons.
We did, yes.
Susan would have rocked it last year. She would have had serial killers and demons.
And just demons at the same time.
Just saying it.
She's brilliant. The woman is brilliant. She makes the most brilliant freaking ways of describing her event. I got to meet this woman. You are wonderful. I can't wait to meet you.
Nice lady.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, come to find out, she's like my neighbor.
Well, that shoots my.
When I contacted her about doing the show, she acted like she knew me from town, and I'm like, "Do what? You're from California? What the hell?" And I don't. But she acted like she'd seen me around. So, the Southern Gypsies will be talking about embracing your inner witch.
You've got to go see the Gypsies. Gypsies are all buddies of mine, and they are just a freaking riot. You must go see them.
And
Holly was in the chat room with 2 minutes ago, in the Facebook chat room. I know she's still there now. But Holly, kiddo, you guys are wonderful. Can't wait to see you.
I would argue many of the people that I know have already embraced their inner witch. Wait, no, witch. I'm sorry. Never mind. Danielle Bailey, Danny, as we call her when we know her. Ed Gein, just a cool title. He's a serial killer, but he's great with kids. But that is the Ed Gein case. She's got a family connection to that. She'll be talking about that. She's quite versed on the topic. Alan Marston, the nicest guy in the paranormal, will be talking about Infamous, a look at the most famous American serial killers. Spirit Mechanics, proud sponsor of Scarefest Radio, understanding the difference between residual hauntings and true hauntings. I really need to talk to them.
Sounds good.
Chris Sutton, who I gave the worst biography. They didn't.
Oh no! Yeah, because I can't get at you. I'm in the chat room and you're not paying attention to me when I'm screaming at you in there. So, okay, bub.
Okay.
That's right. I already told you.
I barely look at the chat room. Anyway, the lovely and talented Chris Sutton will be talking Bundy and Dahmer, serial killers in contrast.
That's right.
So
don't you make fun of it. Don't you make fun of it anymore either.
Apparently, according to your thing, there just are no rules. There are no rules.
No. None. I don't care if they're 8 months old. They can come in. I want children to walk out there. I want children to walk out there traumatized.
He does seminars like I do it. I'm so happy. I tell him, leave the door open, flag people in as they go to the toilet, whatever. I just fill the room, baby. Fill the room.
I might be able to get, like, usually I have like 7 or 8, 9 people, because usually they put me up against Amy Allen or Chip Coffey, so I get like about 5 people interested, 3 or 4 people who drunk and wandered in, and some rat that got out of the dumpster in the back and snuck in and is scurrying around the back of the room. And I count that as a person watching it. So yeah, I'm looking. Since I'm talking more about death this time, I'm sure it's going to bring them.
It could do it, this haunting seminar. It's a haunting seminar. Then coming up, Chad Harlan and Stephen Pulliam, Kentucky's Satanic Killers. An actual I think it was a spree killer case with a Kentucky connection. So,
Chad's starting to worry me a little bit. I don't know if you saw that. We were talking on Facebook last night because you're out there grilling some of your herd's friends on the grill, and Chad was talking about wanting people watch people burn and shit. I'm like, I don't know about this, Chad. But it was in good fun though. We were teasing each other and. He came back very smartly to that, so I gave him credit.
Are you saying that he's getting his Scarefest legs?
He's getting his Scarefest legs. Yes, he is.
Legs where he can dish it out.
That's right, and take it. That's what's important. You got to be able to take it too. But yeah. No, Chad's making it. Yeah, that's for sure.
So everybody, that is what we have coming up at the Scarefest. Now, of course, like myself, I do not have a presentation scheduled this year.
Really?
I did not even apply. I said, if you need, they're so tight on space and time this year with the renovations. I said, if somebody cancels, I can step in.
Happen.
But it would break my heart if I knew that I went in with my bullshit and knocked somebody out of their chance to speak at the Scarefest.
Yeah.
That's what. That's what a swell guy I am.
You're a swell guy. I get that. And you're a judge of talent as well. So that's a good quality. I think I ended up doing 2 last year. I think I did Years of Mine. I did another one because Alan couldn't make it because of the hurricane.
All right.
So I ended up doing 2, and so I don't want to do that again. So let's hope everybody makes it. Of course, you'll be ready, I'm sure, in the wings to deliver something amazing.
If they need something, I'll just do my tarot gallery, because I can bullshit through 45 minutes of that just like that.
Tarot gallery. Okay, world's worst.
I gave readings and everything, Sutton.
I know you do. I've watched you do it.
No, I did it in a gallery setting.
I remember you told me that.
And I have a neat way of doing it. I let the cards pick the victim. I mean,
the
person of interest, and then I gave them in other words, it right there. I gave him a reading, and I don't know if it was right or wrong.
You probably had some like the artful Dodger of Kentucky out stealing people's wallets while they were watching and laughing and stuff. So you probably made a haul off of that.
Yeah, rolling in it, buddy. Rolling
in the dough.
Okay, everybody.
You're rolling in it, but yeah, it might not be money, but you're rolling in it. Yeah.
This has been your episode of Scarefest Radio for this week. We will be back next week. I think we have. Pat O'Keefe is the guest next week, but we're back to having guests next week. No more of my my BS and but we did want, like I said, we were going to fit all this in one show like we normally do, and the way it turned, I think it turned out pretty good to give everybody a little extra plug there, a little extra discussion time. And but once again, that's what you have. One of the things you have to look forward to. Much more coming about Scarefest anytime now. We're going to be announcing the parties, and of course, more celebrity guests. It's killing me. It's killing me to know who they got on the string that won't release. But anyway, that's the way Scarefest works. Everybody, thanks for watching.
Good night, all.